Hey everybody, Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. We're at the New York Amp Show 2009, checking out new amps from Cicognani, and I've got Tom with me here to tell us more about this boutique Italian amp line. How you doing, Tom?
Doing fine, Joe. Glad to see you here at the show.
Good to see you, man.
What
are we looking at here?
This is our new Imperium H150 head, and there's three in the line here, but we're going to start with this one. This is our flagship piece. What we've taken here is analog circuitry. It's an all-tube-based amplifier. It has 5 12AX7As and 4 5881s in the power amp section. What we've done, though, is combine the capabilities of digital technology in with an analog amp. So what we have here is all the pots are digitally encoded. You can see they all light up, so you don't have your standard stamp panel with 1 through 10 on it. And it gives you, the nice thing about the lighting is when you're in a dim stage environment, you can see exactly where your settings are if you are doing things on the fly. But the cool thing about this is that you can program this amplifier to virtually get any sound that you particularly happen to be looking for. Starting in the main section of the amplifier, we have 6 sounds or voices. We have clean 1, clean 2, a sexy sound, which is reminiscent of a plexi, and the crunch sounds very reminiscent of your Vox and your high watt settings, and then 2, lead 1 and lead 2, which are highly rectified sounds. Moving over a little to the right, you have 4 preamp effects loops, along with a post preamp effects loop, your master volume control, and the amplifier. Another cool feature about it is that it has 3 different wattage settings. So at 11 watts allows you to work at home in a rehearsal type setting or in a small club, moving up to a larger venue, 50 watt setting, and for playing those big places or outdoors, 150 watts RMS of pure power to knock everyone's socks off. The feature about programming your sounds is that you can dial in any particular sound that you want, get your setting, and once you have that all locked in, where you want to be with your gain and your EQ settings and your volume of the particular sound, and then on whether it's a clean sound, you get it all set in, you hit the store button here, and it locks into memory. So you can do this up to 127 different presets. This can allow you to do it by your favorite artists, or if you really want to get fancy with it, laying in all your personal effects from your effects board, putting them in, locking them in, and those will also be saved in your MIDI setting. So if you, with 4 different preamp effects loops, allows you to use different distortions, different modulation effects and reverbs and so forth, and individual loops, also with the capability of combining all 4 loops at the same time besides an individual.
We have a demo guy over here who was randomly in here, and we said, hey, would you demo this amp for us? Tell us your name.
My name is Brian Drux.
Okay, we're going to start with the clean 1 setting, and the clean settings are very reminiscent of the Fender sounds of the 60s, the pre-CBS type sounds, like your Fender Twin and your Fender Bassman, Fender Bandmaster, and all those famous amps of the 60s that Fender produced. Okay. So we'll go to that setting, and we'll go over to another voicing here, to clean number 2. And of course, it depends how we set the equalization. One thing I forgot to tell you about here is our classic modern switch. This essentially takes the 6 different sounds, and by using them in the classic mode or in the modern mode, so essentially gives you 12 different voices on this particular amplifier. Dial up some mids here. Let's back off on a little bit on the treble. And of course, depends on the settings, what you do, your gain, and what pickup choices you're using on your guitar, whether humbucker or single coils and Fenders and other types along those lines. Well, let's give it Next, we're going to go to our sexy sound here, which is reminiscent of your Marshall Plexis. We'll dial in a little bit of EQ on that, and let's bring the volume up, and we're set to rock.
pause you for a second and ask you about this demo guitar we're listening to.
Yeah, this is a handmade guitar by a guy out of Brooklyn, New York, called Fedora Guitars, and built it reminiscent of a Les Paul. It just has a little bit longer scale on it. He put in 3 Gibson 59 pickups in it, and it's a great sounding guitar.
All right.
I guess we'll move over to the crunch sounds now. You can see as I manipulate the tone controls that you can get it down and dirty, or you can brighten it up, of course. They're very sensitive, and again here if we go to, that'll give us another voicing there. Next we'll move over to the lead one. This is the sound for the good guys. It's going to give you a certain amount of gain, and dial some mids and dial some bass. And as we do this too, I'm going to dial back and get a little bit more down and dirty and back off some of the treble here. And bring the gain up, and go ahead, take it away. Another feature that you can't see on the rear of here is everybody using effects pedals nowadays, and I'm sure you've been there where the batteries go dead and they always go worst at the wrong time, and that's not a good thing to happen. So in recent times they started powering up all the effects with the capability of using a wall wart, but having a wall wart and all that clutter and stuff down on your effects pedal makes things kind of inconvenient and makes things a lot of messy. What we have here is power effects out, and you see, just use a standard 1/8 inch cable to go out from here and daisy chain them into your effects, and eliminates all. It'll power up your complete your effects console without having any eliminating a lot of clutter and wiring and so forth. You have your slave out, which could also be used as a direct out. And if you notice on the back of our H50 here, you have the post preamp. It's selectable for either serial or parallel, depending on what type of outboard gear you happen to be using, and ground lifts in case they're on a different circuit than where the amplifier is plugged in, and it eliminates all that AC hum and buzz and so forth. We repeated that same ground lift situation over here on the preamps as well, and you have lifts whether you're dealing with a true bypass type effect or a effect that happens not to be as sophisticated, and that again helps to eliminate hum and extraneous noises in your effects loop.
A lot of tones in there, and I love the whole digital pot thing. You just boop, press a button, it pops up.
Yeah, and the nice thing as well is they have the MIDI foot switch in here, and you know, that allows you to dial in up to 127 different settings, and you can get down to either artist settings or bring it right down to the song, like I said, along with the effects loops. A lot of versatility, and after having the amplifier and playing around with it and putting in all your stuff, you can really see what this amp can really do, and we really feel that it's, you know, it's unparalleled. It's something new and exciting for this market. That kind of, I had a guy in here, a player before, and he came in and he says, "Wow, this is like the amp I always dreamed of," and I think, you know, it kind of sticks.
How much?
List price on the Imperium H150 is $25.99. That's manufacturer's suggested list price. Of course, you know, at your favorite dealer, I'm sure you can find a very good price on the amplifier.
So what's the website, man?
Website www.fbtusa.net or www.cicognaniamps.com.
All right. Thanks a
again,
lot, man.
Joe.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care, dude. I'm Joe Coffey. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.